Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. In today's episode we are going to take a look at a specific commander to kind of determine his value in regards to PvP, rebel leaders and general just stats and offensive powers. Taking a look at the weaknesses and strength of that commander. And the commander that we are taking a look at is going to be Julien, and that's going to be for various reasons, because he's been a stable commander in this game for a very long time. A lot of people use him for different reasons, and we will just take a look at how everything functions right now. First of all, to understand Julien, we will have to take a look at his skills to figure out where the power lies in that, as well as his specializations and of course his command attributes. And when looking at the command attributes, you can see that he is focused around attack and defense, and you can also see that the attack and defense is somewhat even, although there's a slight power towards the attack side, while health is decent but not top tier, but it's there. So he's like something you call like a balanced commander in that regard. His quality, well, let's say specialization, is into infantry attack, cavalry attack and spearman attack, which makes him a versatile commander, once again balanced. And also in terms of defensive setups, he can be really strong if you're using all three troop types, of course, due to the large amount of offensive power he gives to the troops. Overall, fairly simple to use, also a good commander to use if you want to be flexible in terms of if you want to use infantry or cavalry or spearmen and don't want to switch around your main commander the entire time, then he can be used for that as well. In terms of skills, it's quite simple, I would say. He has a normal Crimson Spear skill, his active skill, which gives, of course, damage towards the target in front, as well as reducing the target's defense by 12,950, which is a lot, which is also why he's very highly used in certain rebel leader setups, and also for some reason in PvP at times. Then he has, of course, an attack stacking side ability, as well as a passive ability that adds 5,632 defense to his stats, making it over 10,000 defense in that regard. And then there's also a damage reduction skill inside as well. So overall, he still, even with all the specializations and the general skills, is a balanced commander used for various things. But main use that Julien has is because of his offensive active skill, which is with the defense reduction that a lot of people are using for rebel leaders. We are now taking a look at a match where Julien is going to be placed in as well. I have decided to put Julien in the middle at the back, mostly because of the fact that he's not really tanky enough to sit in the front line, and he will in most cases get absolutely shredded by the front line before he can get off his attack. And majority of his abilities, stats and so on are focused around murdering the defensive enemy side. So you want to use him in a way where he benefits the most out of his offensive powers while getting support from the others. So in my case here, I have him set as the main offensive power, and then I have a rather tanky front line in front with a healing commander at the left side back and a supportive commander at the back side right, to give shields and heals and keep my commanders from dying, while letting Julien use his powers to just end up wrecking through the enemy side slowly. And right now you can see he's slowly dwindling down the enemy because of the defense reductions. They lose almost the entire defensive stats, and makes it very easy for him to start killing enemies. So that's how Julien works in terms of battles and PvP, and I would recommend that you use him in a similar way. So we are now in a rebel leader match. You can see that I have set Enzo in the middle front to tank, and Julien is sitting on the left side to him, And I do that because I want him to use his active skill with defense reduction to reduce the defense of the rebel leader, so that he takes more damage from all the other commanders around. And you have to try and build your team around Julien in the sense that either you have to be sure that he can tank, which he can in some rebuild leaders. I believe the cav ones he can tank against up to level 4, but over level 4 then you might have to use some shields or some heals, stuff like that, to kind of make sure that he doesn't die. I do not believe he can tank against other types as well, or at least better options to use instead of that. And once you have gotten to a specific point where the damage output is high enough from him and from the others, then you can pretty much 2 or 1-shot rebuild leaders depending on the amount of gear you have. But personally, I would recommend you to use Julien as either a defense shredder to help the comp deal more damage against the rebuild leader, or to use him as a frontliner against cavs, because you can then use 3 other DPS around him to deal even more damage and still get the benefit of him tanking and using the defense shred to actually make it so that the rebuild leader takes more damage. But that's how I do things. You might find other formations that are more useful, but that's the main use of Julien. And this pretty much also covers what I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below if you have something that you want me to focus on, or to some questions you want me to answer. I try to answer everyone that's writing to me, at least. And if you want to play the game, then there's going to be a link in the description below for the game, as well as the Game of Thrones Winners Coming Discord group. And yeah, I hope this all makes you realize the powers of Julien and where it can be used. Wish you all a great weekend and have a nice KVK, which starts in a couple of hours. And yeah, have fun, guys. Bye bye.